now proudly presented on SNME. That's Sunday night's main event, Patreon, and free feed.
We just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's at the shore fine. Winter ready on the full ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from the north.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your host, your boy George Mackay, and a very rare but special appearance by the one and only Uncle Bobby B here in the Straight Talk Studios, guys. It's a big deal.
Okay, I was off for like 2 shows.
I know. I missed you.
Dealing,
I missed you, man.
Dealing with life.
I know you are.
Life.
I wasn't making like a joke. It's just nice to have you beside me.
Yeah. All right.
Someone's in their feels. That's fine.
My feeling. No. Let's go. Intimidation Games.
Intimidation Games Fallout show. Welcome here to MLW Rewind, and we're just going to get right into it because Bobby wants to get right into it. We're not slowing down in any pace. First match on the card is for the middleweight strap. It is Mistico with Cesar Durant representing Lucha Underground, or Azteca Lucha, sorry, and it is Rocky with Salina representing Promociones Dorado. Jesus was also out there too, but nah, who gives a shit about him? He just announces and that's it. He doesn't really do anything.
Announcing is important.
No, it is important, yes, but I'm saying he doesn't really affect any outcome of any matches.
You can get it. I want a personal ring. I wanted somebody to just announce me every time I show up somewhere. Damas y caballeros.
What are you like? You think you're that big of a deal?
No, I'm not. That's why I said I would like one, but I don't necessitate.
Well, it's that episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin gets his own personal theme music everywhere he goes. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, like that would be, imagine like a wrestler has an entrance, like you just have an entrance everywhere.
Would get a little bit pedantic after a time.
Too bad.
Fair enough. All right. Anyways, this is a fantastic match. You always want to kick off any event at MLW, or most of the time they do with any lucha action. And this one did not disappoint. Mistico and Rocky know each other so well. There's history there. They went back and forth. It was tooth and nail. So many close calls, so many near falls, and also a lot of disrespect from Rocky at one point, actually tearing the mask off down one side, almost tearing it cleanly off his face.
It took a lot of that. I was surprised how much of Mystico's face was. I mean, okay, like his identity, his name is not like a secret. Like we know who he is, so it's. But still, there's that whole they don't know what your face is, so it's a huge sign of disrespect, obviously.
Well, Joe Dombrowski did say on commentary that this is a huge embarrassment to your lineage, your heritage, your family's lineage and heritage. If this mask has been handed down from generation to generation with luchadors in the family, it is a huge embarrassment, right?
Yeah, and he was the original Mystico, and then he was I believe he became Sin Cara at WWE.
Yes, he was Sin Cara at WWE. Good call.
Oh shoot, I'm gonna mess up. I think he then became Cristico. I could be mistaken, because Mystico, he had already passed on to his former partner.
Yes, Mystico 2.0, yes.
Yeah, but then his partner now is no longer Mystico, so he could become Mystico again. It's really weird how that works in Mexico, but I kind of like it.
It is.
Like you inherit this identity.
Yeah, so pretty much anyone can don the mask as long as they can be worthy of the mask.
Right, so this is the OG. This is the OG Mystico.
Right.
And it was a great match.
It was a great banger, and a little tilt-a-whirl into a Fujiwara armbar out of nowhere, and Rocky almost tapped immediately after going back and forth for nearly 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And we got ourselves a new middleweight champ, and Cesar Durant challenging Rocky right after the match, saying, hey, why don't you come back? Let's do it all over again. Let's do mask versus hair. Rocky gets it. He goes in halfway. His upper body is in the ring, and he's like, you guys want it? You guys want it? Fans are chanting. Everyone's going crazy. And in typical heel fashion, Rocky just steps out of the ring. And that's it. CD makes a shot about the fact that Rocky has no balls because he wouldn't step in the ring and put his hair up against the match. But hey, at the end of the day, we got a new middleweight champ. And Cesar Durant fires the first shot in the civil war between the Lucha promotions and MLW. And that's huge.
A couple civil wars.
A lot of civil, but this is the civil war. Or this, I don't really know if this is a civil war. This is a power struggle between Salina and Cesar.
Power struggles, probably.
And power struggle is probably a better word. You're right. Fair enough.
One thing I liked about this match is you hear wrestling fans talk about falsies. Ooh, falsie. A falsie is a false finish. It's supposed to make you think the match was done. Not every pin attempt is a falsie. This match had a lot of actual falsies where we were like, oh, this match is done. Oh, that's it. And they kept coming back for more.
A lot of near falls.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
a lot of falsies in this one, true falsies, which was cool because that gets you invested in the match because you're like, oh, it's done, and then it's not. So you're like, what do they got to do? What's he got to do to put this guy away? And they keep going back.
Well, that sunset driver was picture perfect by Rocky. We thought it was over. He literally put so many people away in his title reign away with that sunset driver, and Mistico kicked out not at 2, at 1.
Yeah,
that's saying something.
Kicked out from the sliced Rocky off the top. He kicked out from all kinds.
Yeah, it was like, what did Joe call it? An extreme sliced Rocky?
Yeah, I don't know. And then Rocky kicked out of the Spanish Fly. He kicked out of all kinds of shit. But that Rana into the Fujiwara, that was it. He was tapping before Mistico even had it fully locked.
Well, and it makes sense as I replay some of the highlights of the match in my head. He actually was working on that arm throughout the entire match, and I don't think we caught that because of all the action that was happening. It was hard to see that Mistico was actually breaking that arm down from beginning to end of that match, almost setting up from this Fujiwara from the get-go, really. I think this is what he was looking for the entire time. He just had to break it down. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. It was a good match, though. All right, NYC Street Fight next. The Calling, Ricky Page and Sami Callihan versus AKIRA and Jake Crist. This match was all over the place, and I want to say something from a directorial standpoint. I understand the action was fast and furious, but whoever was cutting the cameras, there was a lot of quick cuts, almost in between moves. It was very hard to keep what are you mouthing?
I'm saying it was way too fast.
It was very hard, but also cutting it during particular moves in the match took us out of the story because halfway through a match, I see Sami picking somebody up, and I think he's going to go for a power slam. The next thing I know, I'm going to cut to Jake Crist breathing heavy in a corner. Very all over the place for this match, and I get it. The action was fast and furious, but maybe wait till the move is completed before you cut camera angles.
It's hard. You know what actually worked? I worked hard cam for the first time in my life a couple weeks ago. So I understand you got to kind of keep an eye on the action and the director's calling camera cuts, but it's a challenge when you got two sets of people going at each other because one's about to do a move and you got the camera on that, but then you see the second group of guys are like in the middle of doing a move, so you cut to that camera, but in the midst now the first pair of guys are doing the move, so you cut back, and that's what it felt like. It was like back and forth, back and forth. I was getting dizzy from watching this match. It was as far as a street fight goes, it was great. I mean, it was a street fight. That's
and it was a street fight with the the deathmatch fighter. It was a street fight with Rickey Page, Sami Callihan, the Death Machine, Jake Crist. These guys no street fights.
A lot of Ohio in this.
A lot of Ohio in this match, and this ended with a rather simple finish compared to what all the action was happening. We had doors, we had more doors, we had chairs. Jake Crist took a wicked flatliner onto some chairs. It was bad on his back for sure. This ended with a simple low blow and a backslide. Rickey Page for the 1-2-3. And Sami and Rickey Page are actually still continuing to attack both AKIRA and Jake Crist. And who comes to the save? If you're thinking Raven, you would be wrong. It would be Jimmy Lloyd. He comes in for the save and a brawl breaks out. A huge brawl breaks out. Sami wants the mic as all three men are now safely on the outside of the ring and only Sami and Rickey are inside the ring. Sami says, get your asses back in here. Let's get it done. And out of nowhere, Raven comes in, cuts a promo. Says that the calling was stolen. The response, which is his new faction, is now, and the final war has begun. Pretty simple. So this storyline, and it's not surprising, I was thinking about this, the storyline to get to the calling took so long. It was almost a 9-month setup because we just saw those backstage attacks.
True.
So the implosion of the calling is not going to be settled in 2 or 3 events. This is going to play out as lengthy as the introduction was. The outro is going to be just as lengthy. They're not just going to end this as quickly as there's steps this. And obviously this is leading up to War Chamber. The civil war that's happening here will be decided. The response versus the calling will be the main event at War Chamber. I believe that to be the case. That's where this is going. I think that's where we always said that this was going to end. Mm-hmm. When we knew that the implosion was going to happen, we always said that War Chamber would most likely be the setup. But it's not surprising for all those fans who are like, oh my God, I just want the storyline to finish. I understand your thought process. I get it. But the fact that the introduction of the calling took 9 months to set up, you're not going to see the calling just wrap up so quickly, guys. They have to get all they can out of it. And I understand it. And I actually am enjoying this storyline. I think we're seeing the best that we've seen in AKIRA, the best that we've seen in Rickey in terms of cutting promo, in terms of the back and forth, and now bringing Raven back into the fold to introduce the response to the calling. I think that's somewhat kind of poetically genius.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right. What the fuck promo? No, sorry. WTF promo. Davey hissing for an extreme amount of time behind Tom Lawlor and a still injured MSL in the bathroom of the New York arena. And talking about how, cutting the old school 80s promos. We're going to take you back, brother. We're going to do this and that, brother. And then Davey just, zips himself up, does not wash his hands, and then proceeds to wrap his arms around Lawlor and Saint Laurent to their disgust. And it was great because later on, when they actually did come up for their match, there was a lot of wash your hands chants, which I thought was the New York crowd was on fire tonight with the chant. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Saint Laurent had some kind of cloth over him.
Yeah, Lawlor just had the wife beater, the WTF wife beater kind of. Yeah,
that's bared like pissy skin to skin.
Yeah, no. But that was a ridiculous amount of piss. That promo was about a minute and a half.
I've pissed that long. You never pissed that long before?
When I've been out not all night drinking.
Yeah. That's a maybe he just has a large
bladder.
Well,
Saint Laurent did mention some fine French Canadian wine.
Well, that'll do it. Is there such a thing?
According to Saint Laurent, there is.
I think that the joke there was that's like wine.
Like, probably knowing Saint Laurent was
fortified wine.
Next match, fortified. I like that.
Fortified wine.
Oh no. I'll take your word for it for sure. Next match on the card: Bobby Fish versus Alex Kane. And this match was exactly what you expected. You expected Alex Kane to come out focused and ready, and he did. And Bobby Fish was a decent opponent for him. They went back and forth. Fish had his moments of brilliance. Kane had his moments of more brilliance. And this ended with a fade to black and via ref stoppage. That's right. Bobby Fish takes the loss and gets literally blacked out. And Alex Kane grabs the mic and he says, Boomaye is back in business. Title or not, we're back in business. And then he's interrupted by AJ Francis. He comes out and it's a little bit of a promo battle back and forth. I did like the fact that the crowd, again, was on fire. This New York crowd was MVP of the night because instead of chanting top dollar, they were chanting bottom dollar, and it makes total fucking sense. And Kane basically saying that, AJ's not in his ranks, not in his league. And AJ says, that's fine. You could be it. I don't have to be in your league. But I'll tell you this, the people you are close to or in your ranks, they're not as close as you might think, and they're not loyal. Planting a little bit of seeds of doubt in Alex Kane's head, and Alex Kane looked right over at Thomas. Thomas shaking his head saying, no. I mean, again, this is what we expected. Boomaye was not going to last forever. We knew that Thomas was going to be the one to turn coat. It just depends on how they play this out from here. There's a couple different avenues they could explore with this, but ultimately, I think Kane versus Thomas will happen down the line. But I'm interested to see how they play out, which angle they choose to go with Thomas leaving Boomaye. I'm interested.
I think kind of.
Well, hold on. Before you get your thoughts about that, what did you think about the match?
Oh, the match was good. It was what I expected. You had a striker, guy like Bobby Fish, and you had a grappler / striker and Alex Kane.
And Alex Kane new gear. Bravo, dude. Look at fly, dude. Awesome.
They wrestled hard. It was a solid match. It was what I expected. And I think it was more to set up what's coming after it.
Mm-hmm. Side note, what about when Bobby Fish said that Alex Kane pulled his hair?
Yeah.
And his head was shaved clean, which was hilarious.
Yeah. I think now, especially that Alex is not the champion.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he's more free? It opens up him a little bit?
Yeah, and I think it's also like, I want to put Mr. Thomas over eventually.
Mm.
Like, if I'm Alex, that's my boy. I want to put him over. I might not necessarily lose to him, but I want to give him a feud. You know what I mean? I want to give him that time to shine against
You want to have a banger. Absolutely, I get it.
Yeah, like to take ourselves out of kayfabe. Like, they're boys. You want to put your boy over. I would if I was Alex. I'd be like, yeah, let's give Mr. Thomas a program and like get him over. So
I guess I would be the Mr. Thomas in the situation.
The what?
I would be the Mr. Thomas in the situation.
Yeah. So that's
we have the same physique.
Yeah. I mean, the whole AJ Francis thing, I'm not really sold on AJ Francis.
Bottom dollar.
I wasn't big on Hit Row. I like Swerve.
Swerve was the only thing good about Hit Row.
Swerve's I don't want to like put anyone down and be like they're not good.
No. But Swerve was the bright spot in Hit. Listen, we can say it. Swerve was the star. He was the Shawn Michaels and the Rockers.
Literally the shining star. So yeah, no shade at AJ Francis. I'm just
you put in work, man.
Not sold yet, maybe. But who am I? I'm just a dude talking into a microphone. Like, he's out there doing it. So we'll see what happens if there's bright things to come in MLW for AJ Francis. I want to see how this goes with Alex Kane. It could really elevate AJ Francis here. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely. And also, again, planting the seeds of doubt to the eventual implosion of Boomaye. Smart. I love it. Boomaye was probably the one faction that had the least amount of drama within the faction. So now it makes sense that we have to have that little bit of drama. You got to have a little spice to your life, if you will. Okay, it's time for a tag team title match. WTF, Lawlor and Smith with MSL in a fucking crash helmet, still rocking the neck brace. This man gets better and better as the minutes go on. And the crash helmet, also, side note, St. Laurent, I understand maybe you're on a budget, maybe you're on a time crunch. Get one that fits your head. So you can just measure it. All you got to do is really pretty much try it on. Very simple, but I get it.
Some shades of Bobby Heenan in the Weasel suit.
100%, absolutely. And I will say, I love the fact that it was like a homage to Super Dave. The crash helmet was very Super Dave.
I got a big Super Dave vibe off that too.
Yeah. So shout out to St. Laurent. I don't know if that was planned, but it was brilliant.
Super Dave, aka Marty Funkhauser,
just so good.
Super Dave was great.
Super Dave was the best, absolutely. And they're going against SGC, obviously our tag team champions, Justice and Manders. And this was not a bad back and forth. This one, much like the street fight, was action all over the place. I feel like the camera crew tightened up a little bit in this one. We were able to see more of the action and more fluidity, which was great. And again, not throwing any shade. I understand it shit happens, but I'm just saying the street fight was very hard to get into because of how fast the cuts were. But this one was a little bit more slower paced, and it was enjoyable. But hey, what are you gonna do? WTF with the screw job on SGC, surprise, surprise, the crash helmet came into play. The fourth man, if you will, the crash helmet came into play, and Justice gets knocked out pretty much cold by Davey Boy Smith, and Lawlor rolls him up for the 1-2-3. We got ourselves new tag team champions. That's it. WTF finally getting sorely needed gold to build up this faction the way they have, and to have them lose all these matches out the gate. It started to make you wonder if WTF was really going to be this powerhouse that they were building it up to be. But now actually having some gold, that kind of adds a little bit more
credibility.
Thank you. Perfect word. Credibility to this faction. So WTF finally gaining some much needed gold. Screw job or not, Crash Helmet was the MVP of that match in St. Laurent style, and the fact that it was used to win the match. But I enjoyed this match thoroughly. This one was probably my I would say my dark horse favorite of the night.
Really?
It was enjoyable.
My favorite SGC
match? dark, like I said, dark horse favorite.
All right.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
All right. That's fair. I'll give you that. Yeah, it was a pretty solid match. I guess I didn't like the finish because I felt like it was too soon to move the tag titles. How long have they been champs for?
SGC?
2-3 months?
2-3 months, but don't forget, Calvin Tankman and EJ Nduka were tag team champs for less than 6 weeks. And I get it because Nduka's time was running out. But still, to put the gold on him when they knew they weren't going to have Nduka for 6 weeks, that was a little bit premature on their part too.
Yeah, it's just when I'm not a big fan of frequent title changes because I feel like it makes the titles look.
But I feel like when you're in MLW, you have to plan for these frequent title changes because you don't have everybody for full time.
Sure, but I feel like SGC is still going to stick around for a little bit. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to like sit here and change the title.
No, nobody's saying that. We're a wrestling podcast.
I just think like it was a little too soon for SGC to drop the belts.
Fair enough.
But we'll, so hopefully now we're going to see Lawlor and Davey Boy hang on to them for a little bit.
I think WTF deserves a decent run with these titles. They're going to screw over a couple of their challengers and keep these titles for a bit. I feel like it.
Yeah. So which also would. The train of thought would align that WTF's going to be around for a little bit.
100%.
Let's see what happens with that. With the reign of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Tom Lawlor, the filthy Tom Lawlor.
I don't know. Davey Boy's a little bit more filthier. Didn't wash his hands.
That's true.
So it's like filthy Davey.
Tom's extra sweaty, but Davey doesn't wash his hands.
Yeah, but even a guy whose name is filthy, his nickname is Filthy. He got grossed out when Davey Boy touched it.
He looks filthy. Like when you look at him.
No, he looks like a country bumpkin, 100%.
Yeah, like not like dirty. He just looks filthy. Like not.
Yeah, but again, somebody who looks filthy got grossed out when Davey Boy touched him with piss-stained hands.
Well, it's not just piss-stained hands. Like he was holding his dick for like a minute and a half, and then he just walked over and like wrapped his arm around it. It's almost it's almost like walking over your buddy and just like slinging it over his shoulder. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you very much for the visual imagery.
What, you never done that to anyone?
No.
You know what? That's actually something a wrestler used to do, and I can't remember who it was. They used to just walk over and like drop it on someone's shoulder. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's gonna know who I'm talking about because the story's out there. But there was some wrestler who used to rib people back in the day. I actually wanted to say it was Randy Orton. I think that's a Randy Orton thing.
Sounds more like an Owen Hart thing.
Owen Hart?
Owen Hart was the king of ribs.
Yeah, but I don't know about dick rub ribs.
No, maybe not Owen Hart speed.
We're off topic here.
Okay, let's get away from the dick rubs. Matt's Kruger promo. The body count increases. My soldiers gather for one last war. We are the fire that will burn MLW to the ground. Hail Contra 3 times. Now, this is interesting about this promo. One, I could hear him perfectly. Thank you for losing the auto-tune MLW production team. We appreciate you. I do for sure, because my 40-year-old ears could not hear a lot of what he would say before. Would be more so I'm happy that I could hear everything word for word. And I dug it. I like Mads Kruger coming back. I like what we're seeing, Contra 2.0, whatever you want to call it. And I like the fact that we're kind of tying up angles from 2 years ago. I think it's great that we're picking this storyline up, and we're picking it up seamlessly where it left off. It all made sense. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far from Mads Kruger. I feel like this is the best version of Mads that we're seeing. And, Sans La Anthrax, obviously. Rob, what do you got?
Sans La Anthrax. Yeah, it was a Mads Kruger promo. It's typical Mads Kruger promo. Like George said, we could hear him pretty clearly. So I feel like, you know what'd be funny is if we ever get a chance to talk to the people behind these promos and they go, we literally never changed the vocal settings once.
Fuck that.
Over 5 years.
No way. It's not possible. I know it's not.
Because we're like every time we're like, yeah, no, this time it sounded good.
What do you call that? Isn't there something where it's like
I think it's like you vocoder.
No, but it's something you think you saw but you didn't see, like Shaq and Shazam, or like Sinbad and Shazam.
A Mandela effect?
Yeah. So are we Mandelaing the fact that Mads Kruger had auto-tune?
No, Mandela effect would be like if we thought he carried a Kane and he never did. Like everyone was like, yeah, Mads Kruger used to carry Kane, and we like go look at footage and we're like, never carried a Kane once. That would be a Mandela effect.
Okay, fair enough.
In this case, we're just, who knows, we just might be idiots. So yeah, it sounds different every time to us. It'd be hilarious if they never changed it at all. But yeah, no, this
it would piss me the fuck off. It would, straight up. I'd be like, fuck you, you're lying.
I swear, we're gonna get an email from LW. They're gonna be like, yeah, we heard the podcast. We just have to let you guys know we've never changed the vocal settings.
My response back will be 2 words: you're lying.
If anybody, Mr. Saint Laurent, if anybody is hearing this, we
clarify.
need to know.
Yeah, we'll clarify.
We'll keep it on the DL. Just let us know.
We don't have to announce it.
No, we just want to know.
We'll carry the burden. People may think we're stupid.
Who's in charge of the vocoder?
Yeah, who is it? Let us know.
We want to know. Inquiring minds.
They want to know. Out of all the things that we could expose on MLW, that's the thing.
We want to know who's behind the vocoder.
All right, next match on the card was probably my favorite match on the card. It was one bad dude, Tito, versus the rude dude, Matt Riddle, for the New Japan Pro Wrestling TV title. And it's the first time that a New Japan title had been defended on an MLW event, which was pretty damn cool moment in history. This was a great match. It was fast. It was furious. It was no bullshit. It was fucking good. It was great. In fact, honestly and truly, these two hit each other with everything. And Riddle looked like he might have injured Tito at the end with that. What was that finisher that he used? Is that's not the
Tombstone?
But doesn't he call it something?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, Tomb Bro or something.
Tomb Bro, something like that. Anyways, he hit him with a tombstone, and Tito looked like he was a little bit low. But luckily enough, I think Tito was okay. Riddle wins. But this match was my favorite match on the card. This was no bullshit. This was Matt Riddle in the best shape I've seen him since returning to MLW. Not best shape ever, but this goes to as close as his feud with Thatcher in NXT. This is where I would put that match. I love this match. I really did. I enjoyed it.
And I think a guy like Matt Riddle was never really a great fit where he was before, because even he said it. Like this dude is a PR nightmare. Like he's fine as a person. Like I never met Matt Riddle, but I hear really nice things about him from everybody who's met him. But if you're a company, right, and like this guy is a big pothead and he's getting porn stars pregnant and all that stuff, for a big publicly traded company, that's a PR nightmare. For a company like MLW, or if he's on a New Japan, they don't necessarily care as much. Like, it's not that big of a deal. We don't care as much of what you're doing in your personal life. We don't need to, you know.
Just show up on time and do the work.
That's it. And Matt Riddle can wrestle, man. Like, he can wrestle and he's over. So I don't care if he got his girlfriend pregnant and what she does for a living. I really don't care. He's in the ring. The dude is solid. And like New Japan has clearly recognized that. I think it's a big coup for MLW to scoop him up so quick because he's still a big name in pro wrestling and he's extremely talented and he fits the MLW mold of being that striker / hybrid. You know what I mean?
If anything, I could see Matt Riddle being the guy to take the title off Kojima.
Yeah, and honestly, Bad Dude Tito, member of team, what are they called? TMDK?
TMDK, yeah.
Or the Masters Never Kneel.
Anyways.
With like Zack Sabre Jr. This dude is awesome as well, and he can fucking go. So whoever booked this was like, let's put Riddle against Bad Dude Tito, and I know he's a New Japan guy, so it was really technically 2 New Japan guys. But this was awesome. I really did. This was actually my sleeper match of the night. That it was better than I expected it to be.
Fair enough. Well, how about this? We get an open challenge from Janai Kai. She's dropping $5K on the line if you can last 5 minutes with her in the ring. And we're trying to figure out who's going to answer the call. And it is none other than Boston's own bombshell, Zoe Cannon. She answers the call, and as quickly as she answers it, the phone is hung up. She's knocked out in 2 kicks under 5 seconds. We're talking not kayfabe, she was knocked out cold. She got
kicked in the
she got fucking boot fucked in the face. And Zoe Cannon, bless your heart for answering the call, but I don't know what you were thinking. I'm sorry. Janai Kai, Salina de la Renta, and Jesus, they all walk out with bag of money in tow, featherweight title in tow, and this is just a way to, again, build up the fact that the kick demon is that fucking dangerous.
And I think I've said this before about Janai Kai, and I know you've spoken to her and you described her as like she's a sweetheart.
Go check out the archive. She's amazing.
Go check out the archive. You described her as a sweetheart.
Absolutely.
And you look at her and she's like this short little girl.
I know she's short.
She's not super. She's not big. She's not like built like
very athletic. She's very athletic.
She has athletic, but she's not like huge amount of muscle mass.
No,
like
she's demure. Tall. She's demure.
She's athletic, right?
Yeah.
She's a martial arts practitioner. But she comes out and she's got, like half shaved eyebrows and this mohawk with just hair hanging up in the front. She's got a friggin' mouth guard in. I don't know if she's got contacts in there make her eyes look black. She's fucking scary looking, dude. Like, Janai Kai is intimidating looking, okay?
Still a sweetheart behind camera.
I'm sure she is, but like when she comes out, I'm scared through the TV.
No fucks scared. Yeah, 100%.
That is a testament to her ability to sell her character, right? Because if she was somebody who's like rough around the edges outside of the ring, it's not that much of a stretch to be a badass in the ring. But you describe her as a sweetheart, so she's got to turn around then and be a complete opposite of herself in the ring. That's a talent, right? So
that's somebody who's 100% TV ready, just needed more exposure, and I think MLW's given that to her.
Yeah, I think Janai Kai is.
But also, I mean, how else do you sell a character like the Kick Demon without being incredibly demonic?
Right, like
you have to. There's no other way.
Just the mouth guard makes her look intimidating.
Actually, and you know what's good about the mouth guard? I noticed this is that it's got that little bit of white in the center.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also with the beige or burgundy lipstick that she wears to go with her outfit, I will say this. Color coordination is fantastic, and it pops.
Sure.
What? It pops.
Okay.
It adds to the mouth guard.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Fucking asshole. All right. Anyways, CD promo celebration after a glorified squash match. He says, "Let's toast, but let's not toast because you won. Let's toast because you're gonna bring someone in to challenge someone that I'm bringing. Bring your best against my best, and prove to me you are not a child in a man's world." Shots fired at Salina de la Renta. So at War Chamber, we are going to see Azteca Lucha's best versus Promocios Dorado's best. And you have to wonder, is the best male or female? Because Janai Kai is arguably the best thing that Salina de la Renta has in her arsenal right now. Rocky flopped hard at the beginning of this pay-per-view. So it's not going to be Rocky, that's for sure. But Cesar Durant may or may not have Domi Exo or whatever was that key and the phone that we still haven't figured out yet. I'm not sure, but I'm interested to see who shows up at War Chamber to literally be the gladiator for these two guys.
Could Domi be the first two-time featherweight champ?
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Could she do it?
She could.
I could see herself aligning her. I could see her aligning herself with Azteca Lucha,
Well,
Azteca Underground.
The devil you do know is better than the devil you don't, right?
Usually, but sometimes I like to go with the devil I don't know, just mix it up. You got to gamble,
But the
right?
devil she
You
doesn't.
got to buy a ticket
but the devil,
to get to take the ride.
the devil she doesn't know is Salina de la Renta in this situation. She can't align herself with Salina to become the two-time champion.
No, in this case, no.
So she has to align herself with the devil
So
she
then
does
it's not
know.
even an option. Why'd
gotta
you
be.
why'd you play it out like she has two
I didn't
paths?
play it out like that. You fucking played it out like that. You twisted my. Anyway, main event time: Minoru Suzuki versus Satoshi Kojima for the MLW World Championship. And this match was exactly what you'd expected. It was two guys who don't like each other, a 13-year grudge coming to an end. Kojima hitting Suzuki with everything, Suzuki hitting Kojima with everything. Whoa, kids upstairs sleeping.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, Kojima lands 2 lariats, and this fucking moron. Kojima lands 2 lariats for the 1, 2, 3 and retains, still the MLW heavyweight champion. Now we have to wonder, who is his next opponent? Will we see Kojima defend in 2 weeks at Once Upon a Time in New York? Or will we have to wait until the end of March where he defends at War Chamber in Petersburg, Florida? St. Petersburg, Florida.
St. Petersburg.
So time will tell, but I enjoyed this match for what it was. It wasn't my favorite match of the night. The Riddle and Bad Dude Tito was definitely my favorite match of the night. This one was top 3 for sure. Also, honorable mention, Janai Kai boot fucking Zoe Cannon was hilarious.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got on this? What's your thing on this match?
It was funny. I'm 40 years old. I've done some training as a wrestler. Like I'm not like training, but I've done some training. And just like watching Minoru Suzuki bump or like bump, because you could tell he's like, I'm done with this shit. Like I'm not throwing my back down for any, like he just collapses like those lariatos. If he was 20 years younger, he'd be going inside out on those. He just kind of like fell over. And it's like, you can't even get mad or be critical because it's Minoru Suzuki. And the dude's like done everything he can. If he wants to just like fall over on a bump, you're going to let him do that. They kind of wrestled this like a King's Road style, which was cool. Just going for those like high impact spots and a lot of strikes. You know, both these guys are over 40. And they're well past the prime of their careers. They're now in the twilight of their careers, but they can still go. And it was first time they met on American soil. 2 Japanese legends. A lot of history for Kojima with MLW. So I think this was a match you couldn't say no to if you had the opportunity to book it. You're gonna book it. Like I would have done the same thing. Wasn't a 5-star match, but it was still great. And for a main event, for a title match, Cozy picking up the win. Got to see Suzuki again, and anytime I get to see Minoru Suzuki wrestle, it's still good. The dude is still fantastic. 2 absolute legends tying it up tonight, so I thought it was done well.
Yeah, the New Japan DNA was all over this event, and it was great to see. I would have to say Intimidation Games 2024 was a huge success for MLW, and as we build to Once Upon a Time in New York, which is March 16th, and that's free on BN Sports and on YouTube. And as we build towards War Chamber, which will be available on Thriller TV, again, for $7.99 a month, guys, the price point is insane. And this is the only streaming service that is not raising their prices and or not including ads in lower tier price points. So get in while the getting's good because the content is phenomenal. As always, guys, peace, love, and wrestling. I'm your host, your boy, George Mackay. This is
Uncle Bobby B, baby.
We just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's hit the shore fine. Winter ready on the full ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from